Wakey.
Welcome back to I'll Make a Stay Out of You, the podcast where I, Phil,
Wow,
introduce
we're
Stray
off
Kids.
to a great start.
I introduce Stray Kids to my friend Tom, who slowly becomes a stay over time. Hi, Tom. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm
Are
tired.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, but
That makes sense.
does it? I mean, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it should. You've been working a lot this week.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a thing that happens sometimes.
It truly do be like that, but yeah, I'm on a 4-day weekend, so that's nice.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I don't have I actually have a weekend this weekend. It's busy at work right now, and so we had mandatory overtime last weekend. So I actually only had one day off in the last 14 days.
Oof.
So, but this weekend looking nicer, and our boss emailed everyone and said like, "Hey, everybody can take the weekend. We're all good." So I'm gonna do it, no matter how busy I actually am, because I am. But I'm not gonna work, so fuck it.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
That's how
Listen
it
to
should
your
be.
boss, okay? Don't do more work than you have to. That's stupid.
Sometimes though, my boss is telling me to do more work than I need to, and then I'm like, "Hey, but how about we do it this way?" And they're like, "That sounds like a good thing, but this is the Navy, and we're not supposed to make sense." So,
Oh yeah, you can't listen to the Navy. That's a problem.
yeah.
So this in Stray Kids news, we have some bad news, some good news. The bad news is that our albums did not get here in time for our I Am You episode, which is this episode. However, we've found a workaround. We still listen to the music. We just won't have albums to open on this episode. However, the good news is that my albums did actually ship finally, and so they will be here next week. So probably by the time we're recording our next episode, we'll actually be able to open them bitches.
Well, maybe you will. I don't know if mine have shipped. I
guess I intended to ask your wife earlier if she'd gotten a shipment notification or anything, but
yeah.
I did not. I was busy doing nothing.
I want to say I asked her about it. What day did you tell me that you got a shipping notification? Was it yesterday?
Yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. Mm-hmm.
Well, I asked her about it, and she said that she did get an email from them, but she's not sure if it's for the albums or something else that she ordered.
Yeah, right, because she ordered the other thing, the plush, which I had the exact same thing happen where I got super excited one day because I got a shipment notification, and then I was like, oh, wait, but this is under Jeanette's name. Oh, it's the plush. I mean, it's good, but it's, it's not all the albums.
I think you spoiled it for me because I didn't know that it was a plush.
What? Okay, but it's not a spoiler.
I mean, like,
First
I had
off,
a pretty good idea that it was a plush,
you
but
knew what was going on, okay? We talked about it a long time ago that this was a thing, and you still don't know what it looks like, so that's what matters, okay? It's still a surprise, and psychology determined that spoilers do not affect your enjoyment of watching something or experiencing
okay, well then I will
something.
just spoil everything for you.
No. So,
what? But
and then-
psychology, but science.
Okay, but
Mhm.
Super Derek did a video today. I just watched it today, so that's going to date this episode, about spoilers and what they are and the psychology behind that and what spoilers matter and what spoilers do not. And the thing that he determined and what his argument was is that spoilers that tell you the what don't affect your enjoyment, even if you saw what happened. Let's say like you read the last page of a book, that won't affect your enjoyment because you don't have the why or the how. So you still get to experience that fresh. If somebody sat you down and was like, let me explain to you every plot point and everything that happened in a book, then that is way too many spoilers. So
it's based on the info. What about the Who?
Yeah, well, maybe the Who, but like, I don't know.
does
They're
the,
like an okay band.
yeah. Okay. Listen here,
I am
Smarty. Big Smarty. Yeah. So, but under what category does a Who fall under? The what or the why?
Who. I think that's more of a what, right? Or the how? No, I don't know.
Well, okay,
I think
let's use our own personal famous example of this.
yeah,
Okay,
that River is the baby.
the
Yeah.
River is the baby. Is River the baby the what? Because it sure as shit is not the how. I'll tell you that.
It's yeah. Well, it's not the how, but it is the who. I don't know. You're right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But really, what he broke it down into, he did use that as an example. Like knowing what happens in the last page is knowing the what and not the how or the why. But really, what he was getting across was that context. It's the context that surprises you as you enjoy something,
Like
not what the results are.
Right. Like let's use Harry Potter as an example. When people say,
He literally used this example in the video, so I think it's awesome that you brought it up.
In the Half-Blood Prince, when
Uh-huh.
we were, I think everyone was spoiled, right? When people were like going around saying, "Oh, Dumbledore dies in this book."
Well, he
right?
says who does it too.
Well,
The spoiler, the people who were like going to book releases and spoiling it, they were literally like walking up and saying who killed Dumbledore.
Oh, I didn't get that spoiler. The spoiler that I got was that Dumbledore dies. But I think what was more interesting to me, obviously, is right, like who does it. But what's even more interesting is everything else that's going on in that scene.
Right. The actual everything that was going on with that scene is much more complex and interesting than just knowing what happened.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and that is definitely the point he made. So that is interesting. And you know what? I'll admit it. I was thinking about it as we were watching watching that video. I was like trying to put it into a frame of reference of my watching Doctor Who and being spoiled with the River thing, because that's like my main like frame of reference for a spoiler, right? So I was just like, okay, so what is it about like what? Because like literally, I mean, it wasn't intentional, and we had started watching it again. We started watching Doctor Who again. We took a huge break. I mean, like years-long break after that happened. And then we went back, started watching it, but we only watched like 2 episodes and then have never gone back. So I don't know why. I don't understand it myself. So I don't know.
It's because it got spoiled for you, and you just have no interest in discovering the why.
But the thing about Doctor Who is that like it doesn't matter. Like watch the next episode, and it'll have like there's an overarching plot, but it's very Monster of the Week for the most part. Like you could just be like, okay, well, yeah, just show me the next Daleks. Like what are the Daleks up to? Like it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know. But,
I wonder if there's like some sort of, I don't know, Doctor Who abridged kind of thing where you can just get not like Dragon Ball abridged, but like where you just get like the actual story progress, kind of like House. Like House is a great show for this because like I would like to write down everything that happens that's relevant to the characters in each episode that leads up to, whatever it is that I want to know about them, without all the episodic filler bullshit. It's like, oh,
like the actual show. You
right,
want
like
the actual show. You want the meta show.
Right. Exactly. I want the meta show because the show is just patient comes in, House and the team figure out the great mystery. And like, but that's every episode. I don't care about that because it's going to happen every episode. I care about like what's going on with House, what's going on with Cuddy, what's going on with, Omar Epps' character. I forget his name, but all of that stuff.
In a show like that, like I like a lot of shows like that because I like episodic detective mysteries. Like that's all I'm watching right now. I just finished the New Zealand one that we had talked about, and now I'm watching Murdoch Mysteries, which is from Canada, and it's awesome. I was sad that I finished Brokenwood Mysteries but it was only like, I think it was under or right at 30 episodes. Murdoch Mysteries has 202 episodes. So like And it's still airing, like it's ongoing. So I got a lot to work with there, but and it's great. It's like a murder mystery show, detective mystery show that takes place like in the late 1800s. And so like he just like runs into famous inventors from the late 1800s, early 1900s. Like, and he's like, I'm going to run into Nikola Tesla and we're going to use like Tesla coils and shit in this episode. And like they do it in such a tongue in cheek and fun way. Anyway, it's a great show. But yeah, but then that's what I'm into right now. And it's the same deal, right? Like every episode is just like, okay, there's gonna be some murder or crime that they have to solve. They'll probably solve it using some kind of new technology because he reads books. Like that's legitimately how they like explain like why him as a cop in Toronto is like, oh, so I'm just super into science. Yeah, I'm just super into science because I read books. And that's it. That's like the only explanation, but which is fine. You know, it's a good show. But then there's like a B plot about like how he's like in love with the pathologist, but it's the 1800s and they can't like outright tell each other. And yeah, it's anyway. So but same basic premise though, because like I'm interested in the B plot. I'm interested in the meta plot that covers multiple episodes. But I still enjoy the episodic shit that happens in every episode too. So I don't know. I just enjoy it. It's fine.
Well, I mean, you're allowed to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But what if I like found out all the meta shit and just told you all of that?
I would be so mad. I would be so mad. I would be furious. I'd be like so mad. Oh God. I mean, I think the idea is like, okay, like, if I was watching an episode of Murdoch, let's say, and before I watched the episode, right, I knew who committed the murder, it would still be worth watching because you still get to find out how the murder was done, how they hid it, like what ways did they use to try and uncover the murder, and there's still going to be a lot of complexity that leads to the outcome. So just like, I mean, and even like in some mysteries, like they just straight up show you from the very beginning, like the first moment. Like a lot of times they obfuscate it, right? Like they don't want you to know, but sometimes they just like show you who it is. They're like, hey, this person's the murderer. All right, now good luck figuring it out. Like. And that's what the episode is. Instead of trying to figure out who it is, it's about how they figure out who it is. So I don't know. I don't know. I thought it was interesting, but what does that have to do with Stray Kids? I don't know. It's fine.
Well, we'll get to Stray Kids. Right now I'm still, my brain's on the spoiler thing.
You're fine. Yeah.
Take it. Well, let's think about it this way. If you were watching a show and it was, well, I don't know how much non-spoilery spoilers can I give in my question about spoilers. Okay, so let's say you're watching a show where people are gonna die. How,
like Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones is a great example. I can think of a couple other shows that I've watched recently.
Squid Game.
I wasn't going to say it, but you said it, so yeah.
Well,
okay.
People die in Squid Games. Spoilers.
We'll use Squid Game as an example. It's a good example, I think. If you haven't seen Squid Game, I'm sorry.
Watch it. It's only 9 episodes. It's on Netflix. Just watch that shit.
Go watch it. Let's say I told you before you started watching Squid Game, people are going to die, and only one of the main characters gets it out alive. Yeah, or gets out of it alive. Like, that's a huge spoiler, right? But I didn't tell you who it was or how it comes to be that transpires, but I do tell you. So now, the whole time you're watching it, you know that, like, a lot of these characters, even the ones you're growing attached to, goners. Right.
Yeah, but I feel like, okay, once I got to episode 6, that was weighing on my mind the entire time I was watching. That was going to be the outcome. Like, and it was interesting that, and now we're going to get into spoilers territory a little bit, that the other characters who are still alive didn't really think about it. Like, I just didn't understand that. Like, don't you guys know how this is going to end? Like,
right.
I mean, it was never. I mean, that the thing about that show is that they never told you, but it seemed obvious. And when it got serious, like, it suddenly made you go, like, oh, like, this is going to be a problem. Like, I like most of these characters.
So I think I'd have to go back and look at it because I'm pretty sure we get the answer to that question.
We get it when there's somebody exploring. Yeah.
Right. When the guy is exploring and he's looking through the books.
Right.
If we were to pause on when we're getting a look at those books,
each year has one person.
Yeah, right.
I noticed it. Yeah.
So I wasn't looking that closely at the time. I mean, like I was thinking about it, but I wasn't looking close enough to answer that question for myself. So later on, I was thinking, well, I want to go back and look at those books because maybe there's more than one winner. But obviously, like, no.
Yeah, that was not the case.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that would affect, because like how it all goes down is pretty shocking and pretty surprising. So
yeah,
even if you knew that those things, if you knew exactly who, and then I think, okay, like if the only spoiler you knew was who wins or if anyone wins, then I think that you can enjoy the entire series from start to finish, even knowing that. And I think that you start to get, worse when you start giving the context, like where you start saying like, oh, this person was there and this person would, like, if you start adding in other characters and other events surrounding things, the more you build it out, the more like context you provide, the less it's going to surprise you as you learn it. And yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but it doesn't mean you won't enjoy it. So
well, I feel like even having a little taste of a spoiler prepares you better than like having no context whatsoever. For instance, using Squid Game still as an example, the very first part of Squid Game, episode 1, the very beginning, is a guy talking about the game Squid Game.
Right, like the Squid Game, and then the childhood game,
and then for the rest of the show, we don't, like, there's no mention of it. There's nothing,
right?
And so,
I assumed,
in my head, I'm like, the last challenge is going to be them playing Squid Game, right? And then it is. So it comes but it comes full circle, and then I'm like, oh yeah. Well, obviously, only one person is making it out,
right?
Because of the nature of the game, there is not a tie.
Right. Yeah. True. But yeah, it was a good show. I wasn't. I'll give my personal review, and what's funny is that like when we were watching the content tonight, I was definitely thinking like, tonight we got to talk about Squid Game because I finished it finally. I wasn't happy with the end.
Yeah,
the way that it ended, but I mean, it was satisfying up to a point, but like right at the very end, I was just like, come on, really?
Yeah,
like no, like no. So,
yeah. The ending there were some questionable choices there.
Yeah.
There are two questions that remain unanswered for me, and I'm not really invested enough to go look into it. Maybe if they do like a season 2, then I'll care.
I think that's what the implication is, right? That they hope that they're going to get a season 2. Yeah, what was crazy is, of course, now because it's become this like social media like craze to be talking about Squid Game and everyone's watching it, is that like one of the things that I did see was that this dude who wrote Squid Game had pitched it for like 5 years and nobody wanted to do it. They all thought it was a bad idea or whatever. Like all of the ideas that it had, that people just rejected it constantly until Netflix picked it up. And It's just like, I can't believe those people must be kicking themselves so hard. Like, Jesus. It's a good show. I think it may be the first pandemic show that I got into. You know, like there's been a few different shows throughout the pandemic that got like mega popular, like Tiger King. Never watched it. Haven't seen an episode.
Watch Tiger King. Yeah,
never seen it. Was it? There was more than that too, right? Isn't there more than Tiger King? Can't think of any.
Tiger King is a good one though, because yeah, that one got really popular, and I just did not give even a fraction of a shit about that show.
Yeah. Bro, I did just hear that it's getting a second season.
Oh my god.
And my thought was, okay, we are not in the same place as we were when Tiger King first came out. There's no way it's going to get as much play. Like people are past that point. Like it's not going to be okay. And what drove me crazy is that to finance it, they canceled a fiction movie that was about Tiger King that was supposed to star Nicolas Cage. And I'd only heard about it after they canceled it. But my thought was, I would have watched that.
Oh yeah, I would have been. Way
I would have
more
watched that.
than
Like,
that.
Yeah. Why do I care? The dude, the person is still in jail. Like, why do I care about that? But like, oh man, if I could have watched Nicolas Cage play the role, absolutely, I'm there. Yeah. I am there. So yeah, I still wouldn't watch the documentary, but I would have watched the movie. So
yeah. The other show that's going on right now, I don't know if it's not getting as much hype as Squid Game. But I think I've told you should watch Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass? Yeah, we watched the trailer for it, and I think I almost convinced Jeanette, but after we finished Squid Game, she was like, I want to watch a happy show. And I was like, yeah, all right, I get it. But like, I don't know, I looked it up, and there was a review on IMDb that was like, this is not a horror show. So like, don't fool yourself into not watching this because you don't want to watch a horror show, because like, it has like kind of more like thriller moments, but it doesn't go like full horror. I don't know for sure because I haven't watched a single episode, but that was what the IMDb review seemed to indicate, and I was like, oh, you know, like maybe that'll sell it better. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not horror. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
You know, it's October, and like the font and the trailers make it look spooky. Like it's meant to look a little spooky. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
to me, it looks more like The Leftovers. Like that's kind of the vibe I get from it.
I think, yeah, man. It's been a minute since I've watched The Leftovers.
I have never even finished the first season. I've tried to start it about 4 or 5 times.
I think it's kind of that seems more like what Midnight Mass is, but no, Midnight Mass is pretty unique, I would say, and it's
okay.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it. It's fine. Don't give me spoilers. It's fine.
But yeah, it's I liked it. It's worth a watch.
All right. I mean, I'll check it out. I'll talk to Jeanette into it.
We watched the whole thing.
She'll listen to this, and then I'll be like, please, you have to now.
Yeah.
What am I going to tell the listeners if we don't watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like 25 minutes into our episode about Stray Kids' new album, and we've yet to talk about Stray Kids.
Well, we don't have an album. Well, I mean, I have the album because I bought that a while ago. It's not in my pack, but it's in Tom's pack. So we're gonna wait so we can do all the photo cards and stuff together. But we did a few days back. We watched videos for every song on the album. Have you had a chance to listen to those songs again since then?
Yeah, I've not as much as I would like to.
Sure.
Just I don't know. Work has been kind of stressful and long, and I, not to make too many excuses, but I have listened to them, and so I've got a couple picked out that I would say I enjoy. I probably would enjoy more if I gave them more listens, but for now, my top picks are Get Cool and
hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean Get Cool is it's just so good. And I don't know what it's called. It's the one on the album that is like in Korean. So that one. It's
The one
more
on the
it's more
album that's-
rappy.
NS N
Yeah.
slash S.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one that goes slow.
Yeah, it's slower. It's got I feel like it's more of a rap song than a pop song. You know?
Yeah. Let me I'm gonna pull up music.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna check it out so I can find out which one specifically. Because like I was gonna say, the one of the ones that I like is more rap, and it's N slash S, north and south. I think
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, it's the same one. Good. Yeah, it's good. I really like that song, and it goes hard. Like which is pretty contrary to like the other like more goofy, Get Cool, and then of course like so many great harmonies in IMU. All just great songs.
There's not a bad song on the album, but like the ones that are like stand out for me are.
I think Get Cool, and I can have Jeanette correct me on this, but I think Get Cool might be either the second or third Stray Kids song I ever listened to, because the music video for it, because it's so ridiculous and goofy, is like one of the highest streamed songs. And so just when like YouTube was just naturally sending us from music video to music video, it was one of the first ones that we saw.
I see.
So, and it was so goofy and crazy that I was just like, what the fuck is even happening in this? Like, it was so weird, because you have this like boy group of handsome men, and then they took IN and they gave him like a wig and giant glasses, and then they tied his belt up at his chest, like, and gave him up like a plaid sports jacket. It was the weirdest, but like they made it work, and it was fun. So I'll take it. I love that music video. Still really good.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And they get cool in the end. Even though that part is really, really short. Although, the other thing I'll say is that my kids know that song, like both of them. Even the 2-year-old. Yeah. So if I play it, like it's literally like we can play the game where I like play the first like 5 seconds, probably less than 5 seconds, and they'll both know it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's fun.
That's good.
Get cool.
Get cool.
It's really good. I thought.
I'm a good singer.
We watched the it was great. I loved it. We watched the album intro, and I haven't gone back to do this, and I'm gonna have to now, but because I have never watched this album intro before, and I found it really interesting that they had said that the songs the opening tracks for the first 3 mini albums, I Am Not, I Am Who, I Am You, all have elements of one of 0325 from IMU within them. And I'm like, oh man, like I really want to go and listen to that song and then listen to all 3 of those songs in a row.
Well,
not even songs, snippets, but
funny you should say that, because while we were watching that part, I was literally thinking the same thing, and so I made that a Spotify playlist.
All right. Well, maybe when we come back next time, we'll be able to discuss that.
Yeah.
But that it does lead me to something that I know about Stray Kids that is, becoming very apparent, which is they plan things so fucking far ahead.
Right.
Like they're working on songs probably now that will not be out for 2 years. Like they're constantly just cranking out music and content and stuff. And sometimes they're just making stuff that never gets released. Like there were a couple of live streams that Bangchan did making a song from start to finish, and then he brought somebody one of the other members back in to do some like backing vocals and stuff, and then played it for the stream. And just, that's where it lives. It's never been released. It's not been put out on their own YouTube channel as just a one-off thing. It's just, they just made a song just for the fun of it. And it's great and funny.
Going real heavy into that Prince culture.
Yeah. Just constantly making things.
And then putting them in the vault.
I think that they're all really into the idea. Like, I mean, the theme of these first three mini albums, and the theme does change after this. Then the next there's these three mini albums, and then there's gonna be the next three mini albums. All have like one overarching like kind of like story or theme, and so this is really like the end of this era, and it's pretty cool. It's like, you know, they talked a lot during the survival show about, you know, the struggles of being young and then kind of being in a place between young and old and not knowing, you know, who you are. And then they go on to make these three albums that are all about like questioning who you are, you know, trying to figure out what you're not, and that you're not what society tells you are. And then, of course, the final one being like, like self-discovery. Like, I know who I am. It's just really interesting to see like that they thought about that like that far back. Like, we're talking months, because as of this episode, we're into 2019. We've now made it through all of 2018. So, you know, it's kind of cool. I think that's neat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now, I will say, so, well, we did watch the first episode of season 4 of The Ninth, which was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I love that, because that's the kind of content that we continue to see from Stray Kids today that Jeanette and I get super stoked whenever it drops. Like, we get really excited about. So that's the kind of stuff that we're seeing now. That usually in better quality, just because, well, I'm just, you know, you'll still enjoy it. You only know the what, not the how or the why. You don't have the context.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna get good, and I think the next album. So we watched the first episode today. And then our next week's episode we'll have the next two episodes of The Ninth, and then the next one will be the next two, and then we're on to another album.
Why don't we just cram all 4 episodes into one?
Into one? Oh my god. We can. Yeah. But like, when do we have time for that? I mean, it will probably only be like maybe like an hour of watching. Like, I can do that. Yeah. I can do that.
Plus opening our album.
Right.
If I have it. Who knows?
Well, we'll check, you know. I got Metroid Dread today, and it's been staring me in the face. I haven't got to play it yet. So I'm going to do that. Well, I'm going to do it when we're done recording.
All right. Well, I mean, I think we talked long enough, right?
We haven't even said what happened in the night. It's great. So to clarify what I mean by like what kind of content they're doing is that like they basically start with everybody's asleep in the dorm, and then District 9 starts playing super loud and starts waking people up, and it's 10 a.m. and they were told that they would not have to be awake until noon. As all this was in the subtitles at some point. And they, when they get out to the living room, the production team is there, and they have like a sign up that basically says like, if you dance, the first 5 members who dance the choreo to the song that's playing will get money for snacks. And that's all they know. And so I think Woojin and Sungmin and Hyunjin were the first 3 to just come out and start doing it. And they were dancing for a long time.
Can I slip in a spoiler here?
Yes, please slip in a spoiler.
The money for snacks that they got is the equivalent of like $5.
Yeah, they got like $5. Which, I mean, like if you're just going to the corner store, yeah, that's pretty good. You can get a decent snack, a bag of chips or whatever. Like, that's fine.
You can get like a chip and a drink.
Yeah, a chip and a drink. A chippy drinky, as it's known in the West.
You know, now that I think about it, $5, that's a decent amount for a snack. I remember this one time. Now this is this is getting way off topic, but I'll just say
that's fine. That's the podcast.
Yeah. So this one day, I was riding my bike back home from Apple, right? And because like the Apple campus was right off the main road that was also where my apartment was. So I just had to ride up that road to get back to work. So, or to get back home. So I was just riding my bike.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm riding my bike, and this guy is like pulled over on the side, and he's got like a flat. And so I stopped and I was like, "Hey man, do you need help?" And he's like, "Well, I've never changed a tire before." And I was like, "Neither have I. I'm sure it's easy. Let's do it." And so but this guy's like a suit, you know, like he's wearing like, he doesn't want to get dirty. I don't know if he has AAA or whatever, but I was just like, it can't be that hard. I'll change your tire, right? So, he had a spare and he had the jack and everything, and I like set it all up and I changed his tire for him. And he was like, "Thanks." And he handed me like, I was just doing it to be nice, but he hands me a $5 bill and he's like, "Get yourself a Coke or something." And I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking, how much do you think a Coke is?
Yeah. That was literally what I was thinking about. I was like, wait, how much? What? $5? Yeah, get yourself a Coke.
Right. But yeah, that's why the $5 made me think of that, because I distinctly remember him.
Did you get a Coke?
No, I went home. I don't know what I did with that $5.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. That's cool. That's interesting. Did you make sure that you loosen and tighten in opposites, or?
Yeah, like a drum.
Like a drum.
Yeah, like tuning a drum.
I've never tuned a drum.
Oh,
yeah,
well.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that is not relevant to anything I know. But I'm just gonna. You know what? Yes, exactly like a drum, like tuning a drum. I've done that.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
I'll just cut the rest of that. So
I hope I did it right. I mean, he drove off. You know, I don't know if the wheel popped off like a
and
couple
he was
miles down
never
the road.
seen again.
Yeah. Hey,
but you got $5.
Yeah,
so that was a great story.
I was able to buy a Coke out of that story.
A Coke. So they ate some snacks. They got some challenges when they were in the car on their way somewhere. Woojin and Bangchan had to hold hands often. Sungmin, Hyunjin, Changbin, and Han all had to refer to themselves in the third person and use like honorific language, like basically call themselves like senpai, or sama in Japanese, but in Korean. And they had to they had to use their names. It was all third person, so they couldn't say like me, I, none of that. So, and Changbin, and the punishment was you get a sticker on your face. Changbin failed immediately because of course
multiple times.
So his face was covered in stickers. And Hyunjin and Han just basically stopped talking. They were like, "I'm not talking." And the thing that I love is that Sungmin was like, his biggest pleasure was to try and bait Changbin into saying something wrong.
Yeah.
Because he knew he could do it. So he was going to talk in the third person about Changbin and then tricked him into referring to himself in the first person and then getting his another sticker. So it was really funny. That's pretty Sungmin behavior. He seems like a dandy boy, and yet he's devious. He is devious. It's true.
The other D.
So, but I love that. I love that about him. So, the other three, Felix and Lino and Ian, they had to come up with nicknames for each other. Felix was Bok for Young Bok, right? Like they shortened his name. Ian was Yinny instead of Inni, Yinny. And Lino got called Mustard because he had a mustard-colored shirt on. So, one of those nicknames.
These nicknames are awful. Like, you got to put some. You know, nicknames are supposed to be like, I don't know, something significant, or
for sure,
or funny. You know, we've got nicknames at work. You know, that we use sometimes.
It's funny that you say that because you're right. and you can tell because for the rest of the episode, I don't know that we ever heard them use their nicknames with each other. So it just never got focused on, and like maybe they did, but it just wasn't interesting enough to get recorded and get put into the show. So yeah, it didn't really matter. But the nickname that Felix had does, I think it's pretty fair to say that it's so close since it's a part of his name,
right?
That maybe it's just his name, but it does get used later for another promotion that they do. So I don't know yet if like, is this the first time they've used that nickname? Is this something that they planned for years and years and they knew that that was going to be a nickname for him for that promotion? I don't know, but regardless. We should let's go back in time.
Okay.
Blah, 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 blah.
Those are the sounds of time travel.
Yeah, when they were all look, I watched that Anthony Horowitz time travel crime show. Okay, yeah. Crime Traveler. So I do know what time travel sounds like.
But did you ever watch that show? Oh man, what was that show called? Where he was like, he had to go through time and like
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap.
Yes, of course. What do you mean? What did I ever watch that? I watched that with like my family would watch it in prime time together.
Quantum Leap.
It's a great show. That show
holds
up.
So bad.
What? No way! It holds up so well. And you know,
okay.
The only reason
holds up. What about like politically correctness?
It's been a while, but there was definitely a couple of episodes that did not handle it well.
Like
you know which one?
The one.
Yes. You never go full, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad we're thinking of this same episode.
It's not good. It's not good.
Oh, my God. That episode is burned into my memory.
However, my personal favorite is where he plays the monkey that needs to go to space.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just him in a diaper for the whole episode. It's so funny. Like I can't imagine the writer's room on that of being like, do you think that if we just wrote this episode and we just had to make him wear a diaper the whole time, nothing but a diaper, no shirt, just a diaper, he would do it? Do you think he would do it? I don't know. But it holds up in a way because like the whole premise, right, is that they're going into the past, right? So when you see like antiquated technology, well, that makes sense. They're in the past. And then the special effects are almost nothing. Like when they have like Hal, the hologram, like he's just a person. Like he's just a person
right.
And everybody else just pretends they can't see him. So like it works because they're not trying to make like special effects. So right. In that way. So I don't know. There are definitely there are a lot of episodes that hold up. You're right, that one does not. But a lot of them do. So I'll take it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you really want to see one that doesn't hold up at all, you watch The Time Tunnel.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got basically the same premise. It's like two dudes, except it's like I guess it was a military experiment in Quantum Leap too. But it was like a military experiment with time travel, and these two guys go into this time tunnel and they literally like tumble into it, and then like the special effects of them like landing literally has them like doing somersaults and landing in slow motion, and that's how they come into a scene in the next episode. But they're like stuck in time. Like it's the same premise, except they're not inside other people's bodies. They're themselves. They just like show up in random places. But man, that one was like in the 60s. So
this is a show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's called The Time Tunnel.
Oh great. Well, I was hoping that it was a movie.
No, it's called The Time Tunnel. I mean, you can watch an episode. It's totally worth watching an episode at least.
Mm-hmm.
I found it. Wow, my watch was recording everything I was saying. I watched it because I like to watch like 60s sci-fi to fall asleep to, among other things. But yeah, it's good. In a way that it's not.
Right.
Yeah. The Time Tunnel. 1966 to 67.
Jesus.
50 minutes an episode and 30 episodes. So how about that?
That's more than the net got.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The net got 3 more than it should have.
It certainly did. Yeah, that's a bad time.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who didn't listen to our last episode, we had kind of discussed. I guess we could talk about it because we were very vague that we were going to record another podcast.
Right, but we're
now
done
we
now.
can talk about it. It exists. It's available. So if you are on Spotify,
I don't know if it's on the other platforms yet.
I don't believe so. I think I looked either this morning or yesterday. But if you're on Spotify, it's there, and it's called "There's a Sequel."
No question mark. It's just there. It's just
there's a sequel.
It's a definitive statement. There is a sequel.
There is a sequel.
Is there
an apostrophe?
There's a sequel. It's on Spotify. There's only one episode out right now called The Net. And we talk about, if you remember back in episode 20 of this podcast, we talk about it. We talk about The Net.
Yeah, the fact that we discovered that there was a Net, the TV series, which totally was mind-blowing. And so the premise of this other show is that we're going to try and find other sequels that probably shouldn't exist, watch them, be surprised by the fact they exist first, then watch them and come back with our thoughts on it. So, it's pretty good.
Another like just random research that we or like facts that we that someone will dig up and learn about these things.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in film
or bad film,
or bad film or bad sequels, go check it out.
Check it out.
Eventually it'll get to the other platforms, but for now at least it's on Spotify.
Spoofy. That's right.
Called There's a Sequel.
There's a sequel. Yeah. But we're still doing Stray Kids stuff.
Right.
So
we're on Stray Kids right now.
Stray Kids. Woo!
Step out.
Stray Kids.
Stray Kids all around the world.
Everywhere, all around the world.
That's what I said.
I didn't hear everywhere.
Yeah,
I heard. Oh, okay. I heard Stray Kids all around the world, and I was like, whoa! You're missing a whole word.
Yeah,
it's everywhere. Yeah, Stray Kids everywhere, all around the world.
Yeah,
Felix. So I'm happy at least that my album's shipped. Oh, Jesus Christ. We got so off topic, I forgot why we went back in time. We went back in time because I wanted to mention the...
That's right.
We mentioned the 5 people who won the choreography game at the beginning of the episode, but the people of the people who didn't even make it out of their room, one of them was Bangchan, and when he got woken up, he looked fucking dead. Exhausted. He was so upset about being awake at that moment, and we already know that he gets no sleep. Like, it was obvious.
Yeah,
it was obvious. Like, he was not happy, and so they didn't film him much. He wasn't wearing a shirt either, and so they covered him up with like a little graphic of a heart. But
he's so white.
He is very pale.
He might be as white as I am, and I'm pretty pale.
Yeah, well, he's not inside my arms, a lot.
Not my arms or like my face, but oh my god, my legs. I was leaving the ship one day, and my buddy Garcia was standing watch, and I was wearing shorts, and so I posed seductively, and I was like, look at these homegrown gamer legs.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Ugh, just wait. It gets worse. I the other day I was playing Ys 2. I joined a club where people play RPGs together, an RPG club, if you will. so that I would beat more games, because I have like video game ADHD, which I think most of us do, but
Yeah.
like where I just like pick up a new game. I mean, I literally just mentioned earlier, I have Metroid Dread. I have not finished the last game that I was playing, but I did finish Ys 2, so at least I have that. But I was playing it. I was playing it for like maybe 30 minutes or an hour, but I was relaxing, right? So I put my foot up, my right leg, I put my foot up on the subwoofer under my desk, and then I put my other leg on top of that leg, right? Like just, crossing my legs, enjoying, and then I leaned back in my chair and I just played and sat in that one position for like 45 minutes. And then when I stood up, my knee on my right leg was like stiff and kind of hurt a little bit, and it just still hurts.
Oh no.
Yeah, like it's been days. It's been days. I've just been dealing with this like rickety fucking popping knee that hurts a little bit all the time. And I'm just like, you motherfucker, like I did nothing. I didn't go running. I wasn't climbing stairs or a mountain. I was literally leaning back and relaxing, and that's how I hurt my knee. That's like, it's such bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's just ridiculous. I was just like, why?
It's because you're an old man.
Yeah, I know that, but that's why it takes so long to get better. Because, like, I feel like even when I was younger, right? Like, if you, like, sit in a weird position for a while, you're a little stiff, but then, like, 20 minutes pass and you're fine. But it's been, like, 2 days. And I'm just like, I, like, fell asleep last night, and I was like, well, maybe when I wake up tomorrow, it'll feel better. And then I got up this morning, and it did feel better, but it's not gone. So,
yeah. Oh, man. You ever, like, that is so much like sleeping on your neck being in a weird position. Like,
oh yeah,
I find that if I wake up and my neck feels weird, immediately I'm like, man, I can't wait to go to bed later tonight so that I can sleep properly and fix this, because it's not gonna get fixed for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like I wake up, I'm like, great, I'm glad I have this problem for the next fucking 18 hours. Hopefully the next time I sleep, it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it looks like while I'm actually sleeping, because I get my pillow all ready. It's all fluffy. I lay down. I feel like I'm in a good position. I fall asleep. I wake up and my pillow is pressed so hard into my headboard that it's become a triangle. And I'm just like, why do I do this? In my sleep, am I just like scooting myself up against the headboard like until my neck is completely at like an angle, and like I just crushed my memory foam pillow into a triangle? Like it's ridiculous. I have no idea. And I was so mad like last week because we were so busy at work. Jeanette had taken the kids, and because her dad was flying his plane out to a different state, so her mom was all alone in the house, and so she brought the kids over there like every day for like 3 days in a row. And so I was just like working, but because there was nobody in the house, like when I took my lunch, I just went and took a nap. And I would get in there, right? I would get in there for my great lunchtime nap. And I'm like looking at our pillows, like comparing the two, and hers is like a perfect orb of pillow. Like, it has the curve on top. Everything looks normal. And mine is just smashed down into the fucking triangle. And I was just like, and I'm just more awake then because it's like the middle of the day. And I'm just like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, do I need to like buy some straps for my bed to just like strap my legs further down so I can't scoot up any further? Like, is that, do I need to do that now? I don't know.
Like get a straight jacket for when you go to bed.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like sometimes I'll like wake up and I'll just have like pain in my neck, like really bad pain because my neck is cricked at like a 45-degree angle and it hurts all day. And I'm just like dealing with that. I'm just like, okay, well, this is my life now. Let me pop a couple Excedrin, I guess, so I don't get a headache from this, and I'll just be on my way. Like, this is just what I do. It's not every day, right? But it's just like, come on.
Yeah.
The pillow is every day. The neck pain is not every day, but every day I wake up, it's a triangle.
Yeah. I don't have that issue. Normally I don't have too many issues with like I don't know the positions I find myself. The only time where like I'm upset about the position I'm in is because like normally I would say like 90% of the time when I'm asleep I'm either on my left or my right side.
Right.
You know, I find it really difficult to like fall asleep laying on my back, and I guess while I'm asleep my body still doesn't like that position, so either left or right side, you know, I guess
Sure.
I flip flop between those two. But what really irritates me is when like it doesn't happen very often, but when I'll wake up and I'll be laying on my chest, which is the most uncomfortable position ever.
Yeah.
I cannot fall asleep in that position, right? But sometimes I wake up in that position, and there's just drool all over my
Oh
pillow,
no.
and I'm like, why?
Yeah, I'm not a drooler, but there have definitely been a lot of times where Jeanette has brought the kids home and from being out at the grandparents' house, and Logan fell asleep in the car, and it's just a river of drool running down his car seat. Like,
Yeah.
it's gross, really gross. I mean, like, I don't sit there and go, ew, you're gross. Wake up, get yourself out. I just fucking pick him up and put him on my shoulder and
Yeah.
just deal with the fact that there's now drool on me. It's fine. But, like,
Right.
it is gross.
Yeah. I just like I wake up and I just like wipe my face. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I have to flip my pillow over, and then I'm like, all right. Hopefully I don't wake up on my chest again, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not too bad, and I've been sleeping okay. There was definitely a little while there where I was like staying up till 2, and the kids were waking up at 6. And I wasn't trying to stay up till 2. It was just but oh shit! That just reminds me, because when I can't sleep, I just like diddle on my phone, which is something I should not be doing.
Diddle on your
Yeah, diddle. Diddle.
Yeah.
Diddle.
Oh,
Diddle, Tom.
yeah.
Yeah, but
DJ Diddle.
like the children, I've been watching TikToks from time to time.
Like the children, like those Gen Zers, those Zoomers.
Yeah, the
if you will.
Zoomers. Our listeners, not really. Most of our listeners are in our age range, but regardless, like, there are some. It's fine.
The
I like that.
demographic we're going for are the Zoomers.
No, look. We're going for any demographic who's interested in what we have to say. That's fine.
Sure, yeah, fair enough.
I realized, and this is more my problem than TikTok's problem, that I hate TikTok, and not because like TikToks are not funny or entertaining, but like I'll be on my For You page and I'll like swipe through something, right, and I'm like, get to the fucking point. Like, it takes too long to feed me the information.
God.
And then I end up flipping to the next one because I don't want to wait. And they're not long, but I'm just like, come on, like, get to the point, get to the joke, get the fucking and I get frustrated, and I just switch back to Twitter and Reddit and going back and forth between the two of them. So
yeah, I am with you 100%. I do the same thing where I'm like looking at it, and sometimes when I go to lay down, like Anna she'll like climb on me, like hanging over my shoulder to watch the TikToks that I'm watching while I'm laying on my side.
Sure.
She's Big Spoon in this situation,
right,
kind of thing.
You're a bottom. I got it.
Not like Ben.
You're the bottom spoon. Yeah. You're the bottom spoon. Wink.
Yeah.
Yep. Go on.
Anyway.
TikTok.
So, yeah. And then we'll just like watch TikToks. And like, yeah, a lot of the times I'm just kind of like, okay. And then I swipe and she's like, what? I'm like, it was fucking boring.
Yeah, it was boring. Like, I'm moving on. Like, I don't have time. I want information feeding into my brain. Like, I cannot wait for your comedic timing. Like, get out of here.
Or like, sometimes it's the food one. Like, she always wants to watch the food ones. And sometimes the food ones just aren't interesting. You know, like
Yeah.
it'll be like, oh, today I'm going to show you how to make fried rice, and I just swipe immediately, and she's like, oh, fried rice, and I'm like, I know how to fucking make fried rice. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
I have you seen these ones where where like there's a person and they have like a thing and they crush it and they go, guess the color, is it blue or green?
Oh,
or
yes. Oh,
you know what
my
I'm talking about?
God. Whatever.
So
I don't care.
Yeah, right. I hate those, but I keep getting on my For You page. There's this Japanese guy who will be reacting to them, and it's like, is it pink or red? And he goes, pinku, and they're like, it's red, and he's like, and then it goes on to the next one, and he's like, it's like, is it green or blue? And he's like, blue, and they're like, it's green, and he's like, okay, and then he's like, is it white or black? And he's like, white though, and it's like, it's black, and then he goes, what the fuck? And that's the TikTok. Like, he just goes, what the fuck? Like, it's so good. I don't know why. Like, I've seen him do like 3 different versions, and that's like the one thing on TikTok that I've been like, I'm just gonna sit. I know what the punchline is. I'm just gonna sit here. It's like that, and then there's a guy who does like things I wish I knew before I was 30.
Yeah.
Like every video of his is like that, and some of them are good, but yeah, some of them are boring, and some of them are product placements, which that's another thing that fucking annoys the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like flipping, and then it's just like some are just obvious commercials, but then sometimes there'll be like a person who's just like, yeah, you know, bro, blah blah blah, and then I've been thinking about buying a house, and it turns out that it's cheaper than you might expect, and I'm like, you fucking tried to commercial me, fuck you,
Yeah.
fuck you, and fuck your face.
There was this one girl that I was like, I liked her videos, and they were cooking videos. Because I don't know, they were just like the way that she presented it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started to notice that like she's using this one like spice, like this branded spice, like a lot. She's using it in like all of her videos. And so finally, like, I clicked on her page, and her fucking about is like that brand sponsored TikTok or whatever, and I was like, oh, you fucking bitch, and then I unfollowed her immediately.
So annoying. Yeah, it's terrible. I know that TikTok does a pretty good job of like finding out like who you are and what they should feed you, and like my For You page is like, oh, hey, are you a millennial? You'll recognize these songs. And and it's all like, it's like that, and then emo. And then I get like anime TikToks shoved at me, which I fucking hate, by the way. And then mostly the rest of them are all like ADHD TikToks. So what does that tell me? I don't know. Maybe I should talk to a doctor.
Man, I get a lot of the ADHD TikToks.
Yeah, I get a lot of them. So, but the I hate a lot of these things, because like the top 10 lists of like, here's the songs that if you're a millennial who grew up in the 90s, then you're gonna recognize these. And I'm like, it's like the same 10 songs over and over. Or like when there's like, if you're a real metalhead, you'll know these songs. And
I feel like we talked about this, didn't we?
I think maybe you're right. Yeah, I don't know, but I still fucking hate it.
Right.
And then an anime TikTok that they keep shoving at me, it's just people talking about Naruto, One Piece, or Bleach.
Wait,
and I just
Naruto or Naruto?
Naruto.
Yeah. Well, of course, right? I know that, but I mean, like,
or do you? Well, they say Naruto.
Naruto, yeah.
Naruto. Yeah, I grew up with a lot of people who said that too. But yeah, like they talk about like the most popular anime only, and that's the only thing that gets discussed, because like, and I'm just like, you guys, does anybody know Touch? Does anybody Touch? It's from 1983.
You know, but they don't know about that, but they did read the manga, so I mean, they're true fans, you know.
Yeah.
Because they read the manga. Is that hurting your soul? Does that hurt your brain when I say that?
No, it doesn't hurt me, because I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I have kids, man. I don't have time for that shit. And like,
Yeah.
eventually, they're gonna get old enough to where we'll be able to like, I'll be able to share. Like, I have a bunch of manga, and I'll be able to share some of that with them. But like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I just do not give a shit about these people who live by themselves and have a wall full of manga, and they're just like, yeah, I'm just read this shit. I read everything, and I just like, I literally don't care. So I don't know. I just don't. Who has that amount of free time, especially when you have 2 kids? No, that is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I haven't. Look, I want to play Metroid Dread, and then I was watching a Twitch streamer play it, just like the first like hour or so, because I wanted to figure out, like, it's rated T for teen, but like it's hard to know like what crosses a line to where it's like, is it because of the themes that you would learn by reading the text, or is it like actual like scary violence stuff that I wouldn't want my 4-year-old to see? Because like, if it's just the words, you know, like just the story, then I can just, you know, if he wants me to read it to him, I can just change the things that I think are not appropriate, right? I just don't have to read him exactly as it's written. So I was trying to figure out, like, can I play this in front of Logan? Because we played Metroid, like NES Metroid, and then Super Metroid together. And so, like, you know, it's like aliens and stuff, and I was watching the stream, and I'm like, oh, you know, it's pretty cool, because like when you kill the enemies, it's no like blood; they basically just turn white and disappear. So I was just like, okay, all right, and like, you just shoot them with beams and stuff. You're not like cutting them in half or anything. It's not crazy violence. It's not too bad, right? Yeah, it's not Doom. And then there's I don't know if you know anything about Metroid Dread, but there's a like part where a robot basically tries to chase you down, and you can't really kill them. You just have to run away. But if they catch you and you don't execute, there's like an opportunity to like deflect their attack and then run away again. But if you don't time it right, then they like do this attack on you where they like grab Samus's face and appear to like shove a like big metal spike into her. And I was like, yeah, probably can't play that with Logan then. This is probably gonna be a no. I guess we'll play more.
Do you think you're gonna
Digimon.
fail the QuickTime events?
Yes, I'm terrible at games.
Yeah.
I just like them. I'm not good at them.
Right.
That's totally different. Those are different things. I mean, there are games that I'm good at, okay at, but I like RPGs. Like, I like stories, right? So mostly I play single player story based games. Like,
Right.
yeah. So, and I say that while having just beaten Ys 2, which is an action RPG. So, I mean, you beat the boss on Ys 1, which is a lot of RNG and luck.
Is it RNG and luck? I feel like that was 100% skill.
Well, some of it is certainly skill, because you beat it in like 3 attempts and I beat it in like 53 attempts. So it was, but it didn't take me that long to beat this one. The thing that really frustrated me about this game is that like it's got this bump combat where you are taught with every enemy that you just charge in, you bump into them, and that's how you hit them. You just run right into enemies, right? That's how Ys 2 is. Also, the rest of the Ys games are not like this. It's only the first 2. But they both have the bump combat, and it's fun. It's fast-paced, right? So you're just like running through enemies, basically like melting their HP bars. It's fun. But then you get to a boss, and I got to the first boss, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to run at this bitch. And I like start running at him, and I died like immediately. And I was just like, what the hell? And so I went around the side and tried to attack him from the back. I tried like attacking him a bunch of different ways. Couldn't figure it out. And you do have a fireball spell. And so I tried shooting him with the fireball spell, but it didn't lower his health bar. And I was just like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I guess I have to look up a fucking guide. And it's like, you have to use the magic. And that's true for almost every boss until like the very end of the game. So they basically teach you every enemy you fight, you must bump into, except for like the 6 bosses in the game. Those you shoot with fireballs. And it's just like, you changed the entire combat mechanic for 6 enemies. Right. Fuck you. Like, that just made me so upset. And I got through it. I beat the whole game. Great. Good on me. Pat myself on the back. But and I struggled a few times, but I did okay. And then once I beat it, you unlock time attack, and I was able to do like the first like 4 or 5 bosses like pretty quickly. Which, you know, that's I was proud of that. What is this podcast about? What are we where are we?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's go back in time a little bit.
It was, or forward in time. We already went back in time.
Well, we got to go back in time to go forward in time.
Oh, okay. Sounded like I was speaking in tongues there. You ever go to a Pentecostal church?
Yes.
It's weird.
Yeah, but you know they're doing it wrong. You know?
Are they?
Yeah.
Because they're all pretending and they know they're pretending? Is that why they're doing it wrong?
Well, tongues isn't gibberish. Tongues.
Well, it is when they do it.
Well, no, I know, but I mean like biblically speaking, speaking in tongues just means you're speaking in a tongue that is recognizable.
Well, then,
so
just speaking?
Well, no. What I mean is, if I were to be speaking in tongues, you would hear me in English, and a native Spanish speaker would hear me in Spanish. That would be
like a universal language,
right? That would be speaking in tongues, not some fucking gibberish. It would be speaking in whatever, like everyone would be able to understand you in their native tongue, regardless of whatever it is you're saying.
So the true speaking in tongues is Esperanto. Esperanto.
No.
Do you know Esperanto?
I don't.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm just gonna Google it really quick to make sure I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Okay. Here we go. Are you ready? Are
Yeah.
you ready for this? I found it really interesting, and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. So Esperanto is the world's most widely spoken constructed international auxiliary language, and the idea was that they wanted to create a language that was that could be learned within an hour, so that if you have a background in any European language, that way they could basically have like a universal vocabulary and language to communicate with. And so it was like a constructed, instead of like doing what you know most languages do, which is just evolve by people you know, making up words over time. They were like, we're going to construct a language specifically for people to be able to quickly learn that they would be able to communicate with without having to speak their local language. So anyway, it's a universal language. So there you go. You're welcome. Esperanto.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that like a portmanteau of a bunch of different languages?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
How's it spelled?
Esperanto. Esperanto.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
That's
it's interesting.
Neat.
1880s it was created. Or
wow.
Late 1870s and early 1880s.
So it's been around for a minute.
It has been around, and apparently it's spoken in a huge portion of the world. So there you go. I mean, it is a universal language. That is the idea, right?
Well, that is shocking to me, considering
I know.
never heard of it.
I know.
And I've been to many countries.
I know. It's really crazy. I don't really even understand it because I don't remember where I had originally heard of it. It seems like something that would have come up in Psych, like as like a joke, as like a one-off joke of like that one of the characters actually his only other spoken language is Esperanto. Like, but I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
this podcast is about Stray Kids.
It sure is. This episode hasn't been about Stray Kids very much.
Do you think we should make another podcast called
For Us Just to Bullshit?
yeah, exactly. Because imagine, okay, like I worry though that we've probably talked about Stray Kids for 15 minutes.
No, it was longer than that. It was definitely like that.
You know, and so I want to make sure that our listeners aren't falling off because we're not talking about the content that we're presenting in a way that it is what we're going to talk about that we don't, or that we do in a very small capacity.
Let me tell you, I will provide you with some analytics, and we will make that decision right now because I already know what the result is.
Okay.
Okay.
Spoilers.
So, let's see. Where is it? How do I get there?
Yeah, tell me.
I will.
Well, tell me the answer and then tell me how we got there.
Okay. So, episode 20 has 35 plays, right? 35 people have listened to episode 20, and that was the 9th season 2 episode 3 and 5, right? The one where we talked about all kinds of shit. We talked about the net, everything else. The episode length is 58 minutes and 13 seconds, okay? The average listen time for all of those 35 people who've listened to it is 38 minutes and 12 seconds.
Okay.
So, on average, everybody who has listened to that episode has listened to every single second except for one. So they probably got to the very last second and then paused.
Wait, I thought you said 38 minutes.
38 minutes and 12 seconds is the average listen time. And the actual length of the episode is 38 minutes and 13 seconds.
I thought you said so there's 58 only minutes.
Sorry, 58. Yes, 58. I don't know why I'm saying 38. I meant 58. 58 and 58. Yes.
Oh, okay. So
the episode length is 58 minutes, 13 seconds. And the average listen time is 58 minutes, 12 seconds. Right. So it's only 1 second difference from each other.
I see.
So the answer is people are listening to every second of our podcast, and no worries. Let's not worry about it. And on that note, we'll see you on the next week's episode. Because we're at 1 hour and 18 minutes.
Have you ever checked the email? Do you check the email often?
I check the email all the time. Nobody emails.
Nobody's written in.
Okay, if you make it to 1 hour, 18 minutes, you're making it to the end, please send an email to I'llMakeAStayPod@gmail.com with just the subject line saying I made it, and then in the body of the email say "Go me" with an exclamation point, and I'll know you made it.
There's too many instructions for someone who doesn't care about that. So how about this? Please email us, message us on Twitter, be like, yeah, just let's literally say anything, and we'll know what you mean. And
just a winky face.
Yeah, you could just say whatever you want, however short you want it to be, even if it's an emoji, even if it's just a winky face, and that will translate to, I made it to the end of episode 22. I agree with everything that Tom is saying or that Phil is saying, and I think you guys should just be able to talk about whatever you want, and maybe you guys could talk about Stray Kids from time to time. I realize that it's a Stray Kids podcast. You guys do talk about Stray Kids, but I come for the banter, and I enjoy what you guys have to say, and I find it really entertaining, and I hope you keep producing that type of content while also talking about Stray Kids.
That is a lot to imply with a winky face.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've got your homework, listener, and enjoy that. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.